Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is John. Today we're going to be talking about iOS 13 beta for iPad and everything you need to know before you buy. WWDC has come and gone, and what it left behind was a plethora of improvements for iPad. This fall, expect to see dark mode, improved file transfer, Sidecar, and full web browser support. And with iOS 13 for iPad compatible with iPad mini 4 all the way up to iPad Pro 1st and 2nd generation, iPad as a replacement for your laptop or as a companion for your MacBook or iMac is as attractive as ever. Let's take a closer look at some of the latest and greatest features iOS 13 for iPad has to offer. Dark mode. Dark mode made its debut with Apple customers when it was released as an all-new feature with macOS Mojave late 2018. Since then, customers have criticized Apple for not including it on iPhone or iPad, specifically because this would separate iPad from Mac, when in fact, most of us were hoping iPad OS would be a combination of the two. Nonetheless, 1 year later, we finally have it. But what is it good for, and why should you consider this feature before purchasing your next iPad? Let's start with productivity. We all know what it feels like to have to work late into the evening or for long hours. Looking at a screen definitely has an effect on how long you can stay productive. With dark mode, take that extra strain off your eyes, see improved readability of text, and see better contrast. Moreover, if you decide you want to work in a coffee shop, you no longer have to worry about your display being overly bright or obnoxious. Apple has done a fantastic job of implementing dark mode across the entire interface, so expect everything from messages to the Files app to also work well in dark mode. What's more is application developers are also in line with this new trend, so expect all of your favorite applications to take advantage of this new feature too. Improved file transfer. Whether you have an iPad Air 2 like I do with the now outdated Lightning port or a brand new iPad Pro with the latest USB Type-C port, expect to be able to connect an external hard drive like a thumb drive, transfer files directly from a DSLR camera, zip and unzip files, and save files to local storage, all of which you could not do before until the release of iPad OS. Now, I will be honest with you. When I attempted to connect a LaCie rugged 2TB hard drive and my Sony a7 III, I was unable to access files on either device. This largely has to do with the fact iPad lacks the proper power output necessary to power the LaCie hard drive. What I believe is the reason it didn't show up in the Files app in the first place. But the a7 III, on the other hand, well, that's a completely different story. You would think that with it having the ability to operate under its own power, I should have no problem getting it to show up in the Files app, right? Unfortunately, this wasn't the case. To remedy the issue, I unplugged the camera and plugged it back in, turned the camera off and then back on while connected to the iPad, and closed and reopened the Files app with the camera plugged in, all hoping it was a simple error that could be easily fixed. Neither method worked. Afterwards, I used the feedback assistant to report the issue to Apple, so hopefully come this fall, my a7 III will be up and running on iPad. For now, consider file transfer on iPad and its limitations before making your next purchase. Sidecar. Easily the most underrated feature thus far, Sidecar allows iPad users to make their device into a second screen, one you can either interact with via Apple Pencil such as in Photoshop, or simply use as extra screen real estate when multitasking on Mac. Sidecar is an Apple enthusiast's pipe dream with its roots in being able to access and use Mac via a remote desktop application like TeamViewer. Remember the old days when you could access Mac using remote desktop and turn your iPad or iPhone into a miniature-sized computer? That dream is now closer to reality with Sidecar, except slightly different and drastically improved, all to make work more portable and efficient. In order for Sidecar to work, you do need Mac, but if you want to work with Windows instead, install Boot Camp and run Windows. On your Mac, go to Settings, Sidecar, select your device to enable Sidecar. One minor inkling I have with Sidecar, and again this can be fixed before its final release this fall, is you have to place your iPad to the right of your computer. Otherwise, you're dragging files to the right as they appear on the left, making your workflow counterintuitive. Desktop class browsing. Last but not least, and what possibly makes iPad the go-to option for portable computing, is desktop class browsing with an all-new download manager. For years, I have been putting off taking iPad to school with me to complete assignments online at the library in my free time, instead choosing to take my laptop. As a college student, it is critical that I be able to access and download files and have a browser that allows me to take proctored exams. That being said, I also expect Google to release desktop class browsing for iPad Pro with built-in download manager via their popular Google Chrome application. Something else to consider before purchasing your next iPad, as Google has not done this yet. The download manager is exactly like the one in Safari on Mac, and what's nice is it integrates with the Files app so you can view and or transfer files as you please. So far this year, it is looking like iPad will see continued improvements with the release of iPad OS, making iPad a more viable option for those of you looking for a laptop replacement. iOS 13 for iPad includes desktop class browsing with an all-new download manager, great for downloading files, doing homework, research, and more. Sidecar, which allows you to turn iPad into a second display for your Mac, helping you be more productive. Improved file transfer so you can increase the quality of your productivity now that you can transfer photo and video files from a DSLR camera directly onto iPad. And dark mode for more effective productivity, reducing eye strain, improving readability, overall making the device more suitable for working in the dark or for long periods of time. iPad is fuller and richer because of these features, making it look and feel less like a toy and more of a computer. Thank you so much everybody for tuning in and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to like and subscribe. My name is John. This is iOS 13 for iPad before you buy. I will see you in the next video.